Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Seeker of the Unknown. My name is Raul. This is episode 74. Um, kind of decided to name this one Do As I Say, Not As I Do. The reason, because we're going to get into some topics about, um, well, a lot of things where, people in today's culture and time are like, follow me, do these things that I say, but they don't show it with action. They're not giving anybody um, a true sense of direction. They're more controlling and leading these people in order to get them to submit to what they want them to do versus leading them in a proper direction and true, what you would call salvation. So, yeah, let's get this thing going. I'm going to let me send my sis this link real quick. All right. So while we wait for everybody to jump on and I wait for my co-host to get ready to go on and start helping me stream this, we're going to do this in, true good old fashioned. So let's start this off the way we always do, and let's get ready for it. All right, cool. Again, welcome to Seeker of the Unknown. This is episode 74. We're going to call this one Do As I Say, Not As I Do. A lot of things that, one of the things that I was looking at or going over was how we perceive the messages that we are portraying throughout different religions. I mean, you have a lot of people that are telling people, come here, come to this place of our so-called worship. These people are portraying themselves in a manner that is either, I would say, misleading, and preying on people's ideas and sensitivities to the problems that they're going through in order to gain to come in to their so-called places of worship, and preying on people in order to get them to come into these establishments and using these scriptures and these narrations of what is being told in their religious texts in order to get people to do things such as give tithes. If you don't spend your money here, or if you don't come to the service, then you're not welcome. If you're not here on, a prominent member of our services, then we don't want to have you here, and we'll, not allow you to come back. Another thing is touching on how leading by example of what your figures are saying in your religion, as far as one being Christianity. Yahshua's words were, give up everything that you own and follow me. Wealth is the root of all evil. It was not meant to establish a way for you to pay your way into heaven. And that was one of the things that was really I want to say, hindered me. Not only that, it was just the actions of people. Joshua said that you will know people by their fruits and the things that they do. If your people are not going out and doing things according to the word of what you're preaching, and using these establishments to draw people in instead of going out into the world and saying that this church is the true church of quote unquote God or Christ, um, it really um, is something that has bothered a lot of people and has broken people away from that establishment mentality, because if you look at the scriptures, it says that the true kingdom of God is not built by the hands of man, and that the true church of God's followers, or followers of Christ, the true church are his people. Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I shall be also. And there are things that people that are using these establishments for the benefit of themselves in order to gain wealth. And they're using them as businesses. They're using them as stepping grounds to be able to gain that wealth or to live off of. And if they don't use it to do that, then they can't live. And that is, is that something that is far from what Joshua was saying as far as establishing his true message and his words to his people in order to get into the kingdom of heaven? Have we gotten it backwards? Is this something that has just led people in a way that is taking them away from the true narrative and the true meaning of the church of what Joshua was trying to establish? He didn't tell everybody to worship me. He said, follow me, follow the things and the deeds that I do, the works that I am doing through me. My Father is doing these works. When you see me, you see my Father. When you hear me speak, it is my Father speaking through me. Meaning that he is getting this revelation, getting this knowledge and this insight that has come from his spiritual higher power, which is his Father in heaven, who is the creator of all. Man, woman, whatever you want to see. A lot of people think of different things, but his meaning is something that transcends through everything, which is across all boundaries of religion. It is to those of us who are awake to the understanding of what it is. It's the spiritual nature of saying, and not the misleading text that has everybody up in arms. You got to remember something. The so-called church was, killing people in the name of so-called God and using these scriptures to do exactly that and committing genocide for centuries. They were burning people at the stake. They were burning people. They were dismembering people. They didn't know anything about, the Inquisition or the Salem witch trials or any of this. People were actually going through and using the word in order to portray their evil deeds in order to get this stuff portrayed. There she is. Hold on real quick. Let me get her on. What's up, sis? Can you hear me? No, I can't. I think we're having the same problems we had yesterday. Hold on. Yeah, we'll probably have like a couple technical difficulties. This is always something that happens. Every time we try and get on and we try and do something, it seems like something is always coming through or ends up happening, and it's really weird. Not yet. Yeah, no worries. Take your time. It's cool. Yeah, so let's see if we can get this sorted. Yeah, once Sis gets her stuff going, then we'll get it going. But again, like I was saying, we wanted to get the the ideas of everybody around us and see what your thoughts are. Are you able to get it? No. Where's Tom when you need him? All right. So again, like I said, um, we'll wait until we get these technical difficulties handled, and we're gonna have a good discussion and get this rolling. But if you want to chime in and you have something that you want to say or you want to get in on this, you guys can go to the Seeker of the Unknown um, on YouTube or on Facebook. It is on there. If you want to give your input. All right, hold on. And one of the things that I wanted to expound on was sweet. I am going to put this link for those of you that want to get on the podcast or want to come onto the podcast. I'm going to copy this link onto the Seeker of the Unknown Facebook page. So if you go there, I will put it on there, and I will also click on not now. All right, let me see here. Let me close this out. I think it's in there already. Yeah, it's in the Seeker of the Unknown comments already. So I think if you go on there, you'll be able to get it. Just click on it, and you can join the conversation. Hold on. Let me also just put it in the comments real quick. Paste. All right, there you go. So it's posting. Let me see. Not sure if Sis got her stuff going. But as soon as she gets her audio going, and we had the same problem yesterday. We had a really good conversation yesterday. All right, hold on real quick. Let me give this to her. And then I will get everybody back in. I don't need that. Get off. All right, Sis, I sent you the link, so just go ahead and click on it again, and then we'll get it going. let me put it on my page as well. I won't be able to talk to you guys off of my page, but if you go to Secret of the Unknown, you guys will be able to get on there, and it'll actually allow us to talk. So I'll put it on here, but if you go to the Secret of the Unknown page, it'll actually allow us to talk. So it's posting right now. And hopefully we can get sis on, Nicole, and have her join, and we'll have this discussion, because I don't want to start getting into scripture or context of what we're talking about until she gets on, so we can expand, because I know she's got a lot of topics and conversations that she wants to touch on as well with this, because again, like I said, this was something that we were talking about yesterday. We had those of you that were chiming in on the post that I had shared with, a lot of people were getting really touchy about it. A lot of people were getting really upset about what we were saying and what we were trying to tell people about, Yahshua's true words on the true nature of the church, and how we, the people who have woken up and seen it for what it really is, are trying to tell other people, look, listen, we're not trying to bash anybody's faith. We're not trying to harp on anybody's ideologies. What we're saying is that you got it wrong. You've got it backwards. You're doing exactly what Yahshua was trying to break everybody free from, was this institution that had gotten so hyped up into this thing of becoming a business. And exactly like when he went into the temple, when he went into Jerusalem and he started flipping over the tables and all these merchants, and he started freeing the animals, and he started freeing people. Ah, here she is.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, yeah, like I said, I just started touching on, a little bit about what we were talking about, and we had, the post that was posted yesterday on Facebook, and how it really triggered a nerve with people to the point where it became argumentative, and that wasn't your intentions. That wasn't something that you were intending to do. What you were, from what I got from it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people got from it, is that we were expounding. You were trying to touch on something that really was trying to enlighten other people to be aware of what was actually going on in these institutions. That was really manipulating people and trying to make them aware of it, because what you and I had talked on yesterday was kind of like, it's hard for people that are on the inside to see what's going on when they're looking at things on the inside versus stepping back and saying, hey, this is something that we're seeing, and, people that are trying to touch on it and trying to make them aware of it, instead of, getting upset and ticked off and calling people, sinners, or calling them, blasphemers, or calling them, you're just in league with the devil because you're trying to bring people away from God's church. But yeah, I just wanted to give you the platform, and speak on what you wanted to talk about, a little bit about what was going on with that, or anything else.
It's funny, because like you said, the stuff that comes every time we have a conversation, I talk to you, or I talk to another one of my friends about a lot of this stuff, and then all this stuff just comes on to your feed. It just shows up, and it's like that meme that I posted was supposed to be a reflection of like how many people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the fact of it. They don't want to see. I think honestly, it tends to trigger something of people's struggle of their own faith. They don't want to be in a position to question anything, because they already know if they do question, they're going to be shamed, they're going to be belittled, they're going to be like, no, you're just, you're going off into something that you shouldn't do. You were supposed to be taught and brought up to never question. This is just what it is. You don't question the pastor. You don't question any of these things about what decision the pastor and the elders of the pastor do. And I'm one who's very much like, hey, let's have the conversation. It doesn't. Yes, I believe the conversation can get heated. It can get elevated. You know, you got two people's passions and their viewpoints coming in, you know, that can get heated, but it shouldn't lead to disrespect.
Yeah. It should always lead to an open dialogue of, hey, this is my thoughts. You talk and let me know what you think about it, and I'll give you the same. It should
Yes.
never be a thing of, you know, where you're just outright shutting people off and saying, no, you're wrong because this word says this, and that's all there
Yeah.
is to it. And if
Yeah.
you don't believe what I'm believing, then, you know, you're evil. You're going to hell.
Yeah. See, and I'm very much, you know, I'm very much, I've talked to people of so many different backgrounds and religions and belief systems and, you know, spiritualities. Like I've always enjoyed the conversations. I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
insight. And I've never been a person, because of what I've witnessed in my life, I've never been a person that I believe I have to force my beliefs onto anybody.
Right.
I just don't need to. I've experienced far too much that's so unexplainable that I don't have to.
Yeah.
I just don't have to.
Question
It's
myself in order to make you happy and believe what I'm saying.
yeah. And that's the thing is like I could tell people some stories and like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And I'm like, no, it is. Like it's not, there's no explanation to it. And it's why I don't doubt my belief. I doubt what I was taught.
Yes.
I have a lot of strong doubt and struggle, conflicting things, but it was like, "Oh, Nicole, you can't think that way. You can't.
Yeah.
You're going into a dangerous place there, and
Right.
that's blasphemy, and you're getting involved in witchcraft and spirituality." And I'm like, "Hold on, I'm trying. I haven't wandered away worshiping Satan. Like, what's happening here? Like, don't freak out. I'm
Yeah.
trying to test the spirits, and I'm not trying to be in a demeaning way. I'm not trying to question, you know, nothing's demeaning about it. I started seeing things that were a massive conflict, and it was contradicting, and it was like it just did not make sense to me.
And
And so it's like when I started questioning some of these things, it's like crazy to me. Like you can't even if you I've said this to a couple of my Christian friends. I was like, "You do you know the language that Yeshua spoke? It was Aramaic."
right.
I'm like, "Do you know how he would have said God? Allah."
Yep.
Don't even have that conversation because everybody's got this whole entire idea it's a whole other entity, and I'm like, "No, you gotta understand, that's how you would have heard him say it in Aramaic. But you don't even know your Jesus. You don't
Yep.
know him. The Jesus you're talking about, what do you know about him?" And
Yep.
then it's like to even draw a question like that is like, there's no concept because Jesus is white, he's got blue eyes, and he spoke English.
Yeah. And I think somebody, I'm you know, like, again, I'm not going to say names, but I know somebody yesterday had posted on there and, you know, retorted on what I had said and was like, I don't understand where you got this being, you know, Jesus being white and with blue eyes in a church. And they were like, this is not the same God that I see in church. And I was like, well, if you want to, I could pull up a picture and show you. I mean, literally, you know, the King James version that was, you know, actually the image that they got it was from the Borgia brothers, one of the Borgia brothers. And, you know,
Yeah.
and that was his likeness, was the copying of King James. Was like, I want to make this image just like him because he was one of his friends, his associates. So when they, you know, brought the Bibles and started tearing it apart and making it, you know, what they wanted it to be, they were like, well, we're going to need a new image. So that's what they did. And that's what we've been shown. And, you know,
Yeah.
people don't even know that. And they don't even know the history of Borgia, or whatever his name is. And, you know, it's like, you know, the guy was a pedophile. He was a horrible person. And to have his image betrayed of somebody who was like Joshua was real, like a mind opener for me when I found that out. And I started seeking that out too. So, yeah.
It's any of those conversations that even start and you can see the offense and it's like, can't you just open your mind for a minute that all I'm doing is I'm questioning certain things that I'm trying to open your mind to think about it, but I think people get afraid of that. People like direction. You have your leaders and then you have your followers.
Yep.
And when you are a leader, you have to question. You have to question what you're leading, what you're doing. But leaders are fearless. They go into things having to kind of, some things they have time to think of, and then other things it's by the seat of your pants. You're just going.
Yep.
You just got to figure it out as it comes to you. But then you have your other followers that when you can't question anything and you can't think for yourself, you are a follower. You can't, and I get that, but it's okay to empower even the follower to question. I wouldn't want to be a leader who's just got mindless followers. I want you to have full understanding of what I'm leading in. And if I'm saying something, I'm not saying just take my word for it. I'm saying pray on it, ask, really seek. I'm not saying you have to see it that same way, but does any of this not sit right with you?
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest thing that I've told people, like the book of Revelation, I'm like, go read that. I want you to wipe out everything in your mind. Wipe out everything you were ever taught in the church about the book of Revelation. Go read it by yourself with a clean slate.
And even go through the translations of Aramaic or Greek, the true translations. That's another thing that I always try and tell everybody to do too, is to try and get the true translations and the wording from the source, the actual source, and see the differences of the word translations that were depicted, even in the full scriptures themselves. I mean, you can go back and look at some of the scripture wording and actually find real big differences in translation, and it really puts it in perspective when you see it and read it and hear it in true context. It will literally blow you away. And to correct myself on that imagery thing, it was Caesar Borgia where James got that imagery from. So yeah, it wasn't George, it was Caesar.
And this is, there's a lot of stuff I'm still even just, I've been in the church since I was little. And I think I'm a watcher. I'm a people watcher. I watch, I absorb, especially growing up, in abuse. It makes you even draw more into your settings, your surrounding, what people do, how they act, and things that just contradict. And everybody, again, they come right back to that. Well, don't you forget you're a sinner too. You can't be pointing out who sins. I never mentioned sin. I never mentioned that. I never said a word about that. And you're taking it to heart and automatically thinking I'm out here just judging people. That's not it. I'm looking at the church. I'm seeing that the majority of the church is run off of fancy lights and fancy music and all these things that we don't need. And then I know we can't help everybody. I know that.
Right.
And there's certain things that can't be helped, that somebody has to do for themselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just certain things that I felt like when I'm watching these pastors be completely well off, just, and they're getting one of the churches I was going to in San Diego, we were there like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Pentecostal. And, it was a very big eye opener for me. I think it was a year of a journey I just needed to learn from them. But there was things that I started to pick up on, and every service, there was 2 services a day, 3 days a week. And every service there was an offering. Everybody was bringing offering. The same people that had given earlier was given later that day. And I was watching it, and then the pastor's putting his offering, which is coming right back to him.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm watching all of the things, and he would welcome people to his home, and he would cook, and he would say, everybody's welcome, you can come eat. And I always appreciated that a lot, that he opened his doors. But then it's like I walked into the house and I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. This is how you live.
Yep.
And it's, again, not a shame of him. But then I had a friend who was she was in a lot of need. And I said, oh, go to the church. There wasn't even 5 seconds of even questioning how to really help her. It was no, they couldn't help her.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm seeing is that until Now, I hadn't been in that position to go ask a church for help. And then even our local area, all the stories that I've heard, and even just my post, you know, like I said, people aren't going to directly comment because some of them feel embarrassed or ashamed. But
Right.
there's going to be private messages of people saying, I had that happen to me. And
Yeah.
it's all local, and there's so many of these churchgoers here who are like, oh, you tell me who did that. Well, one,
Yeah.
I'm not going to out these people because clearly they didn't want their name blasted. So they're just reinforcing the fact that they're saying, no, that really does happen even here. And for people to think that it's not happening here, they're very much mistaken.
Yeah. And that was one of the big things that we had talked about yesterday is
Mhm.
that, you know, these churches or these assemblies or these gathering places for people, think people that get drawn into that are being manipulated through their pain, through
Yes.
their
Yeah.
through things
Mhm.
that are going on in their lives, and they're made to feel that um, it is their fault that they're going through the things that they're
Oh, yeah.
going, and if they don't change what
Mhm.
they're changing by going through the church and getting this outside source help, that they are in a way going to be damned for life, if they don't follow what is going on or what is happening, um, with their mortal salvation, and the manipulation, not only in just the context for the people for their salvation, but the tithing, like you said, this grand building up of
Yeah.
these churches to be so grandiose, and all these lights and all this music and stuff, and that, like we talked about yesterday, is that, Yahshua's true message and his true depiction of what he was trying to tell everybody is give up everything that you have and follow me. Because when your eyes start becoming more focused on the physical nature of, well, I got to
Mhm.
have these grander things, I've got to have this stuff in order to present God's message or to draw people to him, you start really going away from the true message and the true nature of
Yes.
what it is to be in Christ's consciousness.
Mhm.
And now, not only are you doing that to yourself, but now you're gathering all your congregation and manipulating them and pulling them further from it, because these people aren't worshiping God Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's only Saturdays and Wednesdays and on church days. And
Yeah.
that's horrible. That's where it starts becoming really bad, because people's salvation is really in peril. Their mental, um, you know, understanding of what it is that they should be doing, as far as living like Christ or living like how Yahshua was living. I mean, the man
Yeah.
wasn't sitting there going in a big old mansion and saying, well, I can't come talk to you on the streets. You need to come into this place in order to
Yeah.
hear my message. He was going out into the streets. He
Out.
was reaching people. He was going out and working miracles. And that was a question that I had said yesterday. What is your thought process on this whole thing of, if these people are really teaching, and this is just my perspective on it, if these people are really preaching this message of what Yahshua truly was saying, and they're living the lifestyle, and they're walking the walk instead of just talking, because in the scriptures it says you will know them by their fruits. And in John 15:4-5, it says, remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. So you can't do it on your own, and I can't do it on my own. But it
Yeah.
says you must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. He's saying that
Yeah.
he is the vine.
Yeah.
His message, his life, his message, and how he lived his life, and what he was telling us to live like. If we don't do those things in his likeness, his being the fruit on the vine, we're going to wither and
Mhm.
die.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is what we're seeing in the churches. Where is
Right.
this fruit? Where is it
Yeah.
bearing any of this message that's coming from the vine? And is it a sin to actually do what they're doing as a manipulation, and gathering these people on this false pretense,
You're right.
giving them a bit of a message and not giving them the true whole meaning, and working it, because none of these people are going out in the streets. None of these people are outreaching into the communities where they're seeing homeless people, where people are standing out, or people at the homeless little encampments that are over by the railroad tracks or by the river or yada yada. They're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
Jesus was walking that walk and going out into these places and reaching these people. And it seems like, the true message has been lost and distorted. And like you said, it's become a grand show. It's become a business, it's become an institute. It's become something that he was actually trying to break us free from.
Yeah. That it would never form into that.
No,
not wanting it to ever do that. It was never intended to be that. And this is where, like what we talked about yesterday, like there's so much in it to just to unravel, and it's crazy. The minute anybody is calling a church a business, we've already failed. I don't know how
salvation is measured on how much money you give.
Yeah. I don't know how that can come out of your mouth to roll off the tongue so simply,
right?
And not like, ooh, that tasted disgusting. Like that was
no
not
hesitation at all.
Yeah, like to call a church a business, and what I had reflected on yesterday, how in the world did we take something such as the sacrifice of this horrific experience, that they're saying Jesus went through, and he went through all of this torment, and then you turn around and you just marketed it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world are you okay saying that?
Yep.
And where are you not realizing what it really meant? Everybody is on this, oh, don't take God's name in vain, don't GD it. That's not what it was talking about.
Right.
What you just did of saying that it's a business, that is taking his name in vain.
Yeah.
That's taking his name in vain 100%. You don't even realize what you've done. You don't realize that the church is doing that. It's breaking one of the 10 commandments, like that you're talking about and you're saying, and then you're contradicting it. And everybody is so okay with it because this is just normalized that they don't even realize that's what it's doing. Just like I said yesterday, what are we automatically starting with the kids? It's listed that, we need crayons and we need arts and crafts for the kids. So what you just showed a child is, unless it's happy and it's colorful and we're coloring something, we can't learn about why we're following this faith. Yep. You're making it a coloring pad and then raising up adults
in the same way.
Yep,
just on a bigger level and at an adult attraction.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's not about saying that every member of the church. I've met some amazing people in the church.
Oh, yeah.
I met people whose hearts are completely pure and right. And it's not, I think a lot of people think that means I'm bashing the church as a whole. No, I'm saying the church is the body. The church is the body. You cannot create that body any other way. It was already created.
Yeah.
And you
Luke
can't stop
20 and 21. Yeah. It says it in the scriptures. You can sit here and say, here it is, there it is, but the kingdom of God is in the midst of you. It's within you. Mm-hmm. It's within all of us. And it's realizing that and understanding that we don't have to look outside of ourselves, which is why Joshua never went into Jerusalem until he knew he had to, because it was going to be that revelation to the people and to the Sadducees and the Pharisees that, I'm going to put these people on blast, and I'm going to tell them, because this is it. You're either going to change your ways or you're going to get left behind. And, that was the big thing that a lot of people miss context, because again, yesterday in the comments, they were, she was like, oh, you're taking, bits and pieces and you're throwing it out of context, that's not what it meant. He was telling, the Pharisees, that it was them. They're like whitewashed tombs. I said, yes, but listen to what he's saying. That's not just to them. That's to everybody that's in that position of authority that's doing exactly the same thing that they were doing. You're sitting here worried about, oh, well, I got to look good and I got to sit here and I got to make it all grand. And if I'm not, being flashy or whatever, instead of, just being humble, Why does it
Yeah.
take physicalness in order for you to get your message across about what the true nature and the teachings of what Yahshua was saying? Why do you have to
Yeah.
be this person on a pedestal in order to get that message across?
Yeah.
And, again, like you said, I mean, people are losing that sight, and we're not bashing or saying anything about
Mhm.
people's faith. It's just trying to wake people up in their realization of, hey, you're on this path, but you're being strayed off from that that mindset that where it should be, and we're just trying to help people understand that. I'm not doing it, you're not doing it, and other people who are speaking on those things are not trying to bash people. We're just trying to enlighten people's understanding and give them more knowledge to look outside of that box, that
Yeah.
bubble of what they're
Yes.
doing, so that way they're not being misled by what they're focused on in these institutions.
It definitely comes down to like, oh, well, that wasn't my intention. I believe that people have the best intention at heart, but
Right.
your intention of what you're living out and what you're acting out in, your intention doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, I don't believe you're like condemned to hell for it. That's not it. Like, I don't go around, and I think people automatically, they are so scared that they're going to be condemned and like tossed into the fiery
Yeah.
pit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not it. Like,
Yep.
you shouldn't even be afraid of that. Like, you should not be fearing that. Like,
Yep.
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying like there's more to it, that it's simple, but not the simple that they've been teaching you in church. It's definitely not easy. And this was my whole point. Whenever anybody gets baptized, the first thing I tell people, I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, this looks all great and you're celebrating that you got baptized, but I'm going to
Yep.
tell you right now, this is when the attacks come.
Yep.
And nobody tells you that. Nobody's praying over you and praying for you and following up with you right after to see where life's about to hit you hard.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those attacks are going to come, but nobody's telling them that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I thought that being saved was it. We put it like a bumper sticker, like being saved meant your life was just going to be roses and rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it is hard. You cannot sit there and read Job and think that sounds easy.
Yeah. Talk about trying to keep your faith and steadfastness in your creator, and where you've got your family telling you to curse him, just curse him to his face and be done with it, so we can get out of this turmoil and this misery. And he's like, you're a fool. You're a fool to think that this is going to be something that I'm going to do. And people don't understand that walking the walk, like you said, and that it's going to be an easy thing. It's what was the scripture where Joshua was telling him that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle.
Yes.
And people's faith is what determines their ability to continue walking. It's not well, I'm warm and I'm cold, you're or I'm in the middle, you're either hot or you're cold, you're either going to do it or you're not. You need to walk that path, and not just walk it when it suits you. Walk when it's oh, I'm gonna go to church and hallelujah, and jumping around and playing the tambourine and waving your little cloth around, and then the next day it's like, oh well, you forget about it, you put your Christianity on the back shelf. Or when you see your brother and sisters in Walmart, then you put it back on. It shouldn't be that. And a lot of people are like that, and that's just it's really sad to see.
It's not a costume to put on, it's not a dress to wear. And that is, I think that there's a lot of people that think you have to act a certain way. And I went through that when I was going through the Pentecostal church. I think I was supposed to be brought to that point. All the things, it was, you have to wear dresses because you're a woman, and you can't wear any makeup, and you can't, it really humbled me. I will say it humbled me at the time. I did need to be humbled. I really did. And this is where I take the seeds that were planted in it for their purpose. But I literally got depressed when I was there, because I was trying to be so dang perfect on the outside, according to their looks, their standards. And then everything felt like I was failing. Everything felt like I was failing. It's what my pastor that I grew up with in San Diego, he called the Christian suicide. I'm just tired of being here, and I just want to be home with my creator, and I'm just done with this place. And it was literally
Maybe not.
wearing on me, like, so heavily, and I was like, "I'm so done." Like, I'm just there's nothing I can do. But it hit me one day, it was, there's certain music I do listen to, Christian music and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
one of the songs had hit me, and it was just about being that idea of being perfect and thinking that you could achieve this perfection that you were never going to achieve.
Right.
And it was like it was coming through so clear, like, "You're my creation. I already know you're not perfect. I never expected you to be perfect. And it's not through yourself and your deeds and your works, it's mine.
Yeah.
It's not yours. That's not your burden to carry, and if you were able to achieve perfection, I mean, what would Yahweh be anyways? Like, what would that even be? Like, where would we even have the need for our creator? Where would there be a relationship?
Right. The
And so
example in setting what he did, living that lifestyle,
yeah,
um, is what people should be following. It's the example of what he did and what he said. I mean, you can't there's no ways around it.
yeah,
And people try and nitpick the things that they want to do. Well, I'm going to go to church, or, you have these people that, these institutions that say, well, if you come to church and you repent of your sins, then you're okay. No, that's not how it works. You're
no,
either going to be hot or cold. You can't be lukewarm. And like he said, he'll spit you out of his mouth, because you
yeah,
can't get into the kingdom of heaven with certain imperfections or certain things. Nobody's perfect, but to live the life to where you make the decisions and you say, I'm going to deny these things that are hindering me and not go back to it and
mhm,
continue to walk forward. That is where the self, how do you want to say it? Like the progression, the
yes,
building
yeah,
up of your personality. And it's not, for me, and I know we've talked about it, and I know some other people might not see it that way, but the spiritual aspect of it is that we are all sons and daughters of God.
yeah,
We are all going back to the very place where we came from. That's a no given.
mhm,
But the actions and the fruits that you bear in this life from the time you're born, and you're consciously aware of making those decisions that affect you karmically, to the
mhm,
time you die, and you have to be judged on those things and say, hey, these are the things that you messed up on. These are things that really screwed up. You're walking, doing the things that you should do karmically. And, I think that in and of itself, reading a lot of the things that I've, studied on, the Apocrypha, the Gnostic Gospels, the hidden teachings of Yahshua, and other things, and talking with other people from different cultures, that's another thing too. But I think people get caught up on this salvation thing. And another thing you talked about was the revelation, the end
yeah,
time, scaring of the judgment, to
yeah,
fear people into that. If you're not ready when Jesus comes, the second coming, the yada yada, you're going to be burning in hell and you're going to be left here. I think that people who are waking up to the fact of the awakening of what the true nature of what his message
mhm,
was, is the awakening is going to be in a time, the rapture is the people who have woken up,
yeah,
who see things for what they truly
what they
are,
are,
and are walking a path that is beneficial and Christ-like, Christ consciousness,
yeah,
are the ones who are going to be aware when that time comes, and not
yeah,
fall into the torment and the traps that are going to come. Because I mean, we see it all around us. I think it's going to end up getting a hell of a lot worse than what we're seeing. And I don't think that hell is a physical place. It's the
mhm,
absence from
mhm.
God. It's
Oh gosh,
absence from his presence and his
that's
love.
hell.
Yeah. And not having that, you know, that little voice in your head saying, hey man, you're doing something bad. It's, you're walking, you're going about it, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
And you're just like, oh my God, I'm walking this place and here I am, I'm alone.
yeah. To keep people in fear to where, you
Yeah.
know, all of this stuff was a lot of it was fear-based, fear tactics.
Yeah.
It's that placing something right in front of you, like they're revealing it, but not the whole truth.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put it in front of you, but we're gonna tell you how to read the truth.
Yep.
We're going to teach you how to read this, how to interpret it, how to think about it, how to live it. And they're telling and instructing you. And it's all indoctrinated, like just,
Exactly.
from the school systems, the church systems, all of it. It's
Yep.
indoctrinated thinking, and it's telling you that the truth is there, but we're going to tell you how to interpret that truth.
You have to go through us in order to get the true
Because
message.
if anybody really knew that Christ consciousness and power that literally was, in Isaiah it talks about the word will not come back void.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, and what is it in oh my gosh, what is it? It was the same power that rose Jesus up. Like he was saying that same gift, that same power was meant for us too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the same people he told the people when they were asking him and he was teaching the crowd, and he told them, the same works that you see me do, the same things that I'm doing,
you can
do it too.
And you didn't have to pray and fast first before. You were supposed to be in this all the time so that you could.
You're not like the priest. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you are one teacher and you are all brothers. The greatest among you will be your servant. And he was telling them that the greatest of things, there will come people even after I'm gone that are going to do greater things than me. So how the heck is it that people are sitting here when they see these people doing these miraculous things or talking about these miraculous deeds, and then what did they do? They shun them. They shut them down. They tell them, oh, well, you're a devil and there's nobody but Jesus Christ who is the Son of God. And it's like, the man literally told you, watch for the signs of the time. There are going to be people who are going to come. They're going to do it.
This is where I always look at that. I'm like, that was a promise given to us. And if the word does not come back void, all of this stuff was supposed to be fulfilled. So these things were spoken to us, given to us plain, clear as day. But what the church, the original structure of the church, did not want you for a second to think you had that type of power and authority. They did not need you, because do you know what you can overthrow and undo when you actually have that consciousness and that power and that authority? Do people even know? They don't believe it's real.
Right.
And the thing is that when you really do step into that, you have no idea your power.
Yep.
They don't want you. They never wanted you to know. And then they shame the people who discover it and go, oh my gosh, that was promised to me. I was told that was for me. But once you recognize it, now you're a witchcraft, and you're just, you've got to be a Jezebel, or just anything of the list that can go on. Yeah, it's like you are something now that is not part of the church. I'm like, wait a second, then y'all don't even know who you are following.
Yep.
You have no clue who you're following.
Yeah, people get caught up in this thing of this outside source. And in John 10:34, he told people straight out, is it not written in your law? I have said you are what? Gods. Not God is outside of you. You are God's. This is in their law. And he pointed it out to him. He goes, why are you sitting here arguing with me because you're saying I'm blaspheming? You're telling me I'm being a heretic. But is it not written in the law that you said out of the law of Moses that you are God's? So why are you telling me that it's not me?
Yeah.
That very entity and that deity is in me.
And this is going back to one of the things that you said, like it's gotta be, you need your pastor to pray over you and for you. Yes, we need to gather together, but we're placing certain people too high on a pedestal, not realizing our own authority. And it's that need and that conditioning and that idea is, what the church was put in for, because then when you're there, you got to tithe.
Yeah.
You got to tithe. You got to give your money so that you can keep attending and keep being prayed over. But it just kind of, there's no sense of like that you have any power and authority. You're supposed
Yeah.
to pray without ceasing, but you were never supposed to beg. You were never supposed to plead.
Nope.
You were supposed to speak with certainty.
Yep.
Our prayers weren't supposed to be us breaking down and, like you said, this outside source that we're begging and pleading with.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be that. He was saying you already had the power right there, but you're not walking with any certainty. The power, I mean, just our brains alone and what science has discovered, you know, every gosh, even go into science and Christians get, you know, sensitive about certain things because, you know, it must be that God excludes science and science, they don't go together. Science is man's description of what God's done.
Yep.
It's just the explanation. It is not any magic. There's no magic in science. Everything science has ever talked about or reflected on is just the explanation of it.
Yeah, it's the visual representation of what the working of that the creator
Yep.
put on this earth, or was working through what we call the, you know, the universe, or what Nikola Tesla called was, you know, the 0 point energy, that the energy is in everything.
Yes.
So that energy that flows through everything, that flows through us, is actually what Joshua was doing. He was actually controlling that.
He really was.
Walking on water, raising people from the dead, curing people's sicknesses by making those things disappear, because it's all matter. It's all control over that. He spoke those words to command it to happen, and he made it happen. He didn't think and guess, oh, well, if I do this, is this going to work? No, he said, Lazarus, rise up and walk.
Yeah.
And
no doubt.
No doubts.
And the thing is it's only, people only believe it's Yeshua who could walk on water.
Right.
I'm not even gonna lie. Do you think I've got enough confidence to step out onto a lake and be like, I'm not gonna sink? My mind will go. I've had my entire life of everybody just knowing that I pass through water. That's it.
Yep.
So yes, I guess I don't have that much faith. I don't have the type of faith to step off a boat and step onto water and be floating.
Yep. You know, and
I
that's why
do believe if we really believe that, and if we really had been raised to never doubt that, our brain would literally tell us. If you've ever been to those like a hypnotist, you see those shows, and the guy took one of the skinniest girls out of the she was a ballerina, and then the guy who was doing it, he put her under, and he took 2 chairs and he put her across it, like stiff as a board, and he put her balanced across it, and it was her legs, her like calves on one chair and her neck resting on the other chair, and this is all in front of everybody. He gets up on the chair. Not only is she sitting straight like that across that thing, but he gets up and stands on the center of her, and she doesn't move. And he's like, this is the power of your consciousness. This is the capability you even have in your brain, and you don't even know it.
Yep.
But it's all put right in front of you.
Yep.
And you know, the thing with the Bible, oh, don't you forget to read your Bible. If you're not reading, you're falling, you're failing, you're not going to have anything in life if you're not reading that Bible. Do you realize what I believed was awakening for me was, I do read my Bible, but I also believe that it was a major tool to use and manipulate us. And again, just all the fear tactics and everything. When you were handed that Bible, it was never you just read it for what it is. We're going to tell you how to read it. And you are not going to you're not going to ever be able to understand your power and the Christ consciousness that is within you. We'll make sure that doesn't happen, because we'll make sure that we shame you, send you as an outcast, tell everybody you are this new spirituality, and you know, there's no way that this is the way, the truth, and you know, you're just deceiving everybody. And it's like, but that's not what it is. And everybody else wants to fall in line and not question it. And I'm like, but that's not real faith. You know, and then going back to my post where it was like, I was talking about an outdoor church. I've never seen one. Exactly my point. Why isn't there one? Why is there so many structures with so much money being spent on these structures? And why is nobody meeting like that?
Yeah. Why is it that we are not able, if you're able to walk this faith, and that's one of the things that I always call, and I call them church pew Christians, because they're not only Christians when they sit down in the church, is why is it that you're only a Christian when it benefits you and you're not out doing the works that God called you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you're only able to work quote unquote miracles in the church, but you're not out in the hospitals and you're not doing these things, or you're not going out and saving people that have demonic possessions, or that are, going through things that they're doing? Because God said, I give you this control. I give you the power over what? Not certain things, but all things.
All things
in this world.
Yeah.
And if you have the faith of a mustard seed, that's a mustard seed. That's small. That's itty bitty itty.
Yeah.
People's doubt and people's faith and people's real relying on what they are saying or believing in.
Yeah.
That's what I get, is that if you're not doing these things, that tells me that your faith and your belief is crap. Because if you can't act on those words and do the things that he has called you to do, your faith is nothing.
Yeah.
It's just all talk. It's all just you just putting on a show. Because if you walk on that faith and you can walk on that belief, you should have no doubt in your elements in your body.
Yeah.
That you do it, and it's going to happen.
It's 100% true. And it, like I said, it's everything to I think that it's us being the creation is like, we understand it, but we don't even fathom it. Like we're really not fathoming how great our brain is, how great our complete design of our body, everything that is
we've been
natural.
Made in the likeness and the images of the Creator.
Yes. And that, it's like, do you realize how massive that is? Do you even know how big that really is?
Yeah.
When you look into the body and even know how everything works, it's like, and if we don't really think on that, it's that out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But people who can't even fathom that,
if I don't see it or I don't acknowledge it, then I'm just gonna keep walking.
Yeah, right. I got my blinders on. And that's where it's like, when I talk to people about like frequency being a real thing, these energies of what we are, energetic beings. Like we are, people don't, they're like, no. It's, I'm like, gosh, I just don't, I guess I can't fathom being so afraid in your faith when your faith is supposed to be so sure, and you're so afraid to see a real truth. In saying, I'm giving God all the credit. I'm giving him all the credit because this is amazing.
Yes. Everything that, it's good when you can say that you can see. And this is the thing, is that those who are awake to all of this and who are looking outside of those boxes that we have been put in our entire life and questioning those things, to question, why is this like this? Is there more to the story? Something has been nagging at me and telling me that this can't be all that there is.
Right.
This isn't it, because I can feel it deep in my heart. I can feel it in my soul, my very being. There's more to what is going on that draws us to see and understand these things.
Yes.
And for us to be called heretics, for us to be called sinners, for us to be called evil, and that we're doing the devil's work, that in and of itself is a deception key of the very devil that you're talking about. And the other thing I know we had talked about too is now this is just my perception on it, is that when people see what they're talking about and not understanding where the concepts of the Old Testament before Joshua came, these elements were adapted. A lot of the stories and a lot of the messaging from the Old Testament came from ancient narratives. Now, when you see that and you realize that the creation story was something that was brought in from the ancient Sumerians that had the first actual texts and writing and mathematics and laws of the 10 commandments actually come from them. You see that in the wording of the creation of Adam and Eve, that even in the very essence of the forming of humanity, that the breathing or the giving of the life, the essence of who we are, it not only, people don't see that. What does it say in the beginning? Let us make man in our, not mine, our, more than one image. Let us make him like us, so that way he can expand and be knowledgeable and fruitful and go out into Eden and experience this and flourish.
Yeah.
And people see that and they're saying, oh no, well, that's just a paraphrase. That's not actually what God's Bible says. Well, you got to understand something, that story that you're getting these things from isn't the original story. It came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even the story of Noah, another thing that I bring up to people too is like Abraham, when he was out and he was married, did he marry a woman that was a Jewish woman? No. Did Moses marry a woman that was Jewish? No. She was a Canaanite. So he learned all these traditions. He learned all these things from his wife or their wives, and they adapted a lot of this stuff that was introduced into the generations after. And a lot of, even today, archaeologists, anybody can go look this up, are still finding pagan ritualistic idols that they worship in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
There. It was something that was just taken away. They were doing it there. So this old mentality was something that was carried over. And you and I have talked about this a lot, was when Joshua came, he said, I have come to bring the new covenant, meaning the things that I am telling you, you don't have to do this old stuff. You're getting caught up in the whole thing of having to go to the temple and having to do all this sacrifice and having to do all this worship only in this place. Or if you don't do this, then it's going to be you getting led away and going to this eternal damnation. I'm going to tell you that the very things that you should be doing is within you. The power that I give you, the message and everything that I'm telling you is within you. You are not separate from the Creator, but you are one. You're one.
Yes. And that's nothing you will hear. You won't hear that.
No.
You won't hear that at all.
It's the separation of the two.
Yep. And it's unbelievable that it's not talked about.
Right. It's like it's a what do you call it? It's a tabooish thing.
Taboo. Yep.
We don't see those things in church because this is a house of God and we're coming here to worship. Well, why can't I worship in my living room and sit and talk and meditate on my God or the Creator and still get the same fulfillment that you're talking about? That is in and of itself is the richness that we are supposed to be doing. We have to do that within ourselves before we even step outside and try and do anything.
Yes.
We have to fix this. We have to do this.
And that's where I kept reflecting on you're just a sinner. You're just a sinner. That's it. You're just a sinner. Yep. That's it. And it's like, when I looked up, what is it to sin? It's to miss the mark. And that doesn't sound so heavy as just being told you're a sinner all the time. Yeah. Do I miss the mark on things? Yes. But was I really supposed to sit in this every day and just reflect that I am just this sinner? I am just this hell-bound sinner. Like, is that all I am? How in the world could a creator create something so much, so great, so amazing, so indescribable? You can look at a sunset and be like, it's just breathtaking. It's just perfect.
And it's like everything that's around us. Yeah.
And it's like, how could I not see that I'm created that same sky right there? Same creator.
Yep.
Same creator. Like, I'm part of that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how I'm supposed to just loathe and hate myself. Yeah. Why is that the message? I guess I just kept questioning it. Like, this doesn't make sense. And I can't tell you, don't just pray. Have you had the arguments with God? Have you yelled at God? because if you look at the consistency of every man who's been angry at God and said that Job was angry, he did
Yep.
say he was angry, but he
Yep.
still said he would not stop. He wouldn't quit. He wouldn't, he would not, oh my goodness, what's the word?
He would not turn his back on God. He would not drop his faith and belief in God because of what was going on.
Right. And he would not deny, he would not turn away. But he said, of course he's angry. He lost all his children. He lost everything. Like, and Job was considered to be,
bottom of his feet and everything.
Yeah. Like Job was considered to be very wealthy.
Oh yeah.
And, for those times, like he was a man of wealth and he was well off. And, it just like, yes, I've been angry and I've had the real conversations because of other humans. And I'm like, okay, when are you going to like make this clear to me? Because I don't need to just be sitting here. Why would you just let me mess up like this?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you let me just do these things? Like what kind of, like I correct my child. And then it was like, I had found, like we know how bad this world is, but none of us have children with the thought that they're going to fail.
Yeah.
We don't have children hoping for suffering. We're hoping for greatness and greater things and greater purpose. Things that we're literally having a child to love something beyond ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that made me really reflect on God's love for me.
Yeah. Or putting them in a situation where we know harm is going to come to them and just being like, okay, figure it out.
Yeah.
And just leaving them there. You know what I mean? Like we're not deliberately going, oh, well, we know that something bad is going to happen to them. Well, let's just leave them there.
Let's just do this. And I'm like, when I'm reflecting on what the church is saying and when they're not realizing, I'm like, do you realize that's how you're making it sound? Or going back to what you were saying about, the church and well, are you reading your Bible? Are you praying enough? Is there something in your life, a sin that you need to give up and cast off? And that's why this prayer is not being answered?
That's why you're in the state you're in, is because you're not giving everything you can to God. And, you're just continuously living your life in torment because you're allowing this evil.
You're allowing it
to create your life. And it's really sad to see that we have to put people in that mentality of deception and tell people that you either do what you're doing and give your all, or you're going to burn in hell if you don't do it this way.
Yes.
Without saying, hey, listen, life is hard. It's going to bring you down. Things are going to happen. But you got to understand something, that the end game for all of us is that we're going to make it. You can do this. You're going to be able to do this. And the creator, the one who made all of us, is in you. He's giving you that power and that authority to take over all these things that you are going through.
Yes.
I don't need to go to church and sit there and say, God, I really am, going through a tough time right now because I don't have finances. I wish that you would fix it for me.
Yeah.
What the freak? You do what God gave you the abilities. If you got a skill in doing art, if you got a skill in doing craft work, if you got a skill in doing social work, if you got a skill in babysitting or helping children or doing animal work,
anything.
Why don't you? Blessing that the creator gave you was to get out and go do those things to fix that. Look at what you're able to do. Stop looking at what you need to do outside in order to make those things happen. Make it happen. We are all endowed with the gifts and the abilities to do something. We just look for those outside sources in order to make it happen when we can make it happen from within. And that's what I think the church manipulates people on, is like, you got to come in here in order to get these things to happen or to fulfill your life or to make these fulfillments work.
And you got to give your tithe, because it won't come back to you if you don't give your tithe.
Don't give that money. You're better off just staying outside, because we ain't gonna be able to help you. Yeah, pretty sad.
And it's like I've come to realization through the years, and everything. There's always new things growing and new things, that I'm discovering, and things that I pray about it and I ask, and it's like every time I've ever been in like these downward spirals of like, I have those moments I'm slipping up, my faith isn't as strong as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then boom, here comes this person that's out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, there you are.
Yep.
Because I know the ones who are they truly have that Christ consciousness in their heart, and you can't unsee it in them.
Yeah.
You
It's
just
it
can't unsee it.
it's like those who are alike you attract like-minded people.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with woke people. Like you will see them and you're like, man, that person really has something that is wrong with them. You can
Mhm.
sense that
Yeah.
on people. And
Yeah.
that's really crazy because I had just had a conversation with my girlfriend Jessica. We were talking
Yeah.
about a lot of things, like you see things not in the same light that you used to see it before. It's different. And even when I had a discussion with my mom and I told her, Mom, like, it's weird because there'll be moments like you can literally see things on people that
You
are
can.
attached to them
You
because
can.
you can see when people are suffering. You can see when people are sad. You can see when people are going through depression. You can sense it on those people.
Yeah.
But the people who are elevating themselves, and even you and I have talked about this, is the sensing of those things on people when you're around them.
Yeah.
It can drain you.
Yeah.
And you separate yourself from that. But
Yeah.
that draws it to the point where you help those people. Hey,
Yeah.
do you need something? What's going on with you? Do you need to talk? And I'm so like really glad because when you and I first started talking over a year ago, and
Yeah.
I told you, like, you do things like you were brought to call out and do this to help people. It
Yeah.
may not seem like it, but somebody hears it. People
Yeah.
hear it. And when they hear it, it reflects in them.
Yes.
And ask you questions. And you're like, well, I noticed this. And then it starts becoming a thing where you're building people to the point to where they need to be. And I love this expression that I heard in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth when he talks about we are all children of the light. We are all
All.
bring, but the ones who have diminished their flame, it doesn't go out. It's just diminished enough to where the darkness envelops them.
Yeah.
But come into that darkness and help them illuminate that fire that is inside of them, because we are all children of the one. And that is what I think of when I when I talk to you, is that I see that you being that light bringer, if that makes sense, you being that fire illuminator in people that are at that point where their flame has gotten so dim that you're like, hey, let's spark this thing up and let me help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah. Oh, you went out.
Did I?
It like went out for a second.
Oh, I know it'll start getting like that. Like the internet will start glitching. But again, like we said before, when all this stuff started happening, because I even lost connection on my thing, like it deleted my whole microphone and everything. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Something always will try and hinder people from getting messages, saying something. And like you said, it's not that everything has to be perfect, but things will happen that will come in to try and trip people up or get the message to shut down, because that is that darkness, whether you believe it or not. There is light, there is darkness, there is good, there is bad, there are things that are going to hinder you, there are things that are going to bring you up, but there is things that will completely try and diminish people from getting messages or speaking on something. Little as, like we're talking right now, the connection stopping, or your audio not working, or dang, I was trying to go to meet somebody to have coffee and talk to them and my car breaks down. You know what I mean? And it's like those little things people don't realize, and it's crazy.
The thing is that for a long time, because of how I am, my characteristics, and I've tried to explain this to people. Like, it says, you read and it says, like, to everything there's a season, there's a time, there's a place.
Yep.
And there's been times I grew up in my family, I'm very outspoken, I'm very passionate, and my convictions, they run deep. And so that passion will follow in with my conviction. And then it's like, it just pours out of me. And sometimes my family used to tell me I was too much. And then it made me question and doubt myself.
Yeah.
And then it was like getting to a point of, I knew I had to have experiences in life to be the person that I am. And some people, they're like, you're just so strong. And when you think something, you're just on it, and I used to feel like I was supposed to be shamed in that. I was like, you know what? Out of everybody, I keep questioning people. Like, what do I need to be for you so that you're not offended or you're not hurt feelings or whatever emotion you're feeling because I spoke on something. And then I realized, y'all know that the one you're questioning the most is not me. You're questioning God and the time frame he made me and for this time and purpose. It's not me. And if I was made for that purpose, then I have to be okay with fulfilling that purpose.
Yep.
And it's going to come with conflict. And being a person who, you're not the first person who talks about that light and lighting that flame. And I'm looking for torches. I'm not looking to put out anybody's light. I'm looking like, where's your torch? Because I'm about to light that thing up. Like
Yeah.
I'm about to spread it. And it's like, I don't want you putting it away. I don't want you putting it on the shelf. I don't want you to do that. And people will notice, and that kicks up in me, and I'll have those little moments, and it'll depend on who I can have that little conflict, because I'm like, I see more in you. I see more in you. And I'm going to have to come at you hard for a minute.
Yeah.
Because you need to pull that torch out.
Mm-hmm.
And you are putting it away, and a big part of your light is your accountability.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be like, man, you got to be accountable. This isn't about sinning and all this stuff. Mine has always been about accountability.
Yeah.
And hey, I messed up. Hey, I didn't make the best choice in that. Hey, that wasn't my intention, and that just did not go as planned. I believe that there are truly evil people. And then there are people, like, I'm not going to sit here and I stopped looking at myself like a sinner. Don't call me a sinner, because it is such a foul thing to say to somebody.
It's a belittling of somebody's personality when like the comment was like, oh, you're just like everybody else. Why are you going to bash somebody and say something about them and call them out on their stuff? Well, listen, like, you don't understand who I am. And you don't know who I am, so to just blatantly say that I'm a bad person because I'm calling somebody out or saying something and putting it in the context of a quote-unquote sinner, that is a defensive mechanism for people who are ignorant to facts and want to hide behind that ideology, because they can't, defend their reasoning of behind why you are saying what you're saying. Because if it's truth, why is it hurt?
Yeah.
Because it's probably something that you need to work on and fix.
Yep. Yes. And that's where for the church, when they continue on with the sinner talk, that was for the masses for a reason. Mm-hmm. And then they got everybody. I mean, gosh, we could reflect on COVID with this. Like, look at COVID. If you did not wear a mask, you were so selfish and inconsiderate that you were not considering the health of everybody else. Yeah. But nobody was considering my well-being when I literally can't have something over my face. I have PTSD. I can't. I was choked and strangled. I can't have something over my face. I don't feel like I can breathe. Not one person cared about that. No, that needed to come second to everybody else's health and well-being. But look how they shamed. Yeah. Look at how, as a community, people came to, you saw the very few of us who were standing our ground and saying, no, absolutely not. And then the rest of them who easily came in together to attack. That's what was done with the church. And most church members, they don't even see what they're partaking in. Yeah. They don't see it at all. And it's amazing to me, because they're so focused on this. Just because you hide your sin, you're hiding all of your garbage and what you lack in accountability, so that you can go and point at everybody and go, oh, they're such a sinner. I don't care about calling you a sinner. You're a human. Yeah. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make bad choices. When I do, trust me, nobody even has to beat me to the punchline, because I'm already there. Yeah. Yep. I'm already there. Yep. And
I'm reflecting on the things that I need to take care of myself before I go. And it's like the verse where he talks about, take the plank out of your own eye before you try. You know what I mean? Take the chip off, take the wood, the whole freaking tree that you got sitting.
Yeah. Before the sliver in your brother's eye.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You're
the little splinter.
Yeah.
And see, and that's my thing, is like, I see that so much, and I'm like, man, this sinner thing really got us. It really did. It worked.
Oh yeah.
It worked. I felt so much shame all the time, and God, I'm just so unworthy. And I would be saying that in my prayers. What kind of manifestation is that? That
Yep.
I'm just unworthy and I'm unholy and I'm nothing of
Not
his
good enough.
likeness. I can't be anything of good, but yet I'm created in his image and his likeness. This is contradicting.
Yeah, exactly. Let me figure out what's going on here, because this isn't making this isn't making sense here.
It's 2 plus 2 is equaling like negative
7.
500. I don't understand. And it's really so simple. And that has been the thing that has just mind boggled me. And since I was a child, my head was just working. My mom always just thought the way my brain worked, she was like, you're just unreal, like the way you see things. And it's like dreams and visions since I was a kid, and things that would happen. And my family would just look at me and be like, how did you know that? And I'm like, that's a gift. That's how I was created. And I
It's a
can't imagine
premonition.
that I have those gifts and yet not be this amazing creation. And then you're arrogant if you say, no, I'm an amazing creation. I can't even, like, I look at humans and I'm like, we are amazing. Like, we're amazing. We are powerful. And all the church, the highest power of the church was to manipulate you into fear and for you to lack that understanding, real truth of understanding of who and what you are.
Yep. And one thing that really that just clicked in my head, and I was like trying to get hold of my mom, because even though her and I don't see eye to eye on things that, as far as spirituality and spiritualism and the differentiating between what the actual wording and the texting of the Bible was saying, and seeing it in that spiritual light of it being an elevation of consciousness to what we were supposed to be at. My mom always tells me, and she said this for a long time, because both of my parents were pastors. I grew up in church since I was 5. And my mom and dad, were, they never beat it into my head, but it was really stern. It was,
Yeah.
this is the way, this is how it's going to be. But now it's become a thing where her and I can converse and talk, and I could share with her things, and I can expound on things with her. And it's not the same thing. She will sit down and listen, and she will say, okay, I see what you're saying. And she'll look into it. And she will always tell me, son, people who have spiritual discernment will always be the ones who question everything, or who
Yeah.
will expound on something, or will call people out because they see it. The
Yes.
discernment that people have will literally show you where and what they are thinking of and what they are trying to do by helping other people.
Yeah.
Because people who don't have that spiritual discernment, you can get it twisted and sit there and say, oh, well, I have
Yes.
spiritual discernment because I'm doing God's work. No.
Yep.
It doesn't
That's
work
not
like
the same.
It's not the same. And it's like you said, it's well, I can be a Christian on this day, but I put it on the back shelf because I got to go do something else and be with my people and my friends. It's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the people who stand on their convictions,
Yeah.
who say, I know I did something wrong. I know, but you're changing it. You're
Yeah.
becoming a better person. You're saying, I'm going to do what I need to do to progress myself, and not falling back on it and continuously doing those things and allowing it to hinder you, and then saying, well, I'm trying to be a good person. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do the right thing. Well, if you're trying, make it happen and fix it. Yes,
What is
we're not
that
perfect.
on the movie I Love You Man? And he talks about trying.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes because it's like, ooh, that hurts a little. That he didn't lie.
Yeah, and it's crazy how you could pick up things in like songs or music or videos or seeing things, and that, again, that spiritual discernment picks it out and goes, dang, that hit a
Yeah.
point. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool, is because you can look at things, even though they're not Christian or they're not gospel or they're not, it hits a discernment of saying, I can reflect on that because I can
Yes.
relate, or that fits something.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I love it. It's really cool.
That I think that's always been like the biggest thing, is like having the open mind, because my brain just desires the knowledge.
Yeah.
It just desires it. And people think that you can't. Most people are uncomfortable with correction, but the more knowledge I have, I'm comfortable with the correction because
Yes.
I want it.
Yep.
But most people don't. It's a control thing of like, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but then right there's your arrogance. Like there's your pride and your downfall.
Hmm.
And nobody's trying to tell you what to do like that. And just because I say something's wrong does not mean that I'm trying to shame you for all eternity and say you can't change it or fix it, or
Yeah.
that I'm better than you.
Yeah. And for you to take that on and take it and interpret it that way, when you tell people those things, they should be looking at what it is that you're trying to say. It's like, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Raul, I noticed that, you're doing these things and it's really like causing an issue. And, I don't think that's really cool." I'm not going to look at them and say, "Well, if you don't like it, too damn bad."
Yeah. Right.
That's a lot of people's mentality, is they get upset because they're like, "Well, I'm doing it this way, but if it's hindering you or it's hurting you, and we see it on the outside, but you
Yeah.
don't see it on the inside."
Yeah.
And you're looking at it not from that. It's like the Bible verse says, is that we are sent to call out those things and to tell the truth, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much it hurts you. If it is something that we're seeing, as long as I am living the right way and I am not with those faults on myself,
Yeah.
then I can tell you, "Hey, bro, hey, sis, hey, this is wrong. Do you need help with this? Can I help
Yeah.
you with this?" If I'm
Yeah.
calling you out on your faults, or I'm calling you out on your BS, or you're fucking doing
Yeah.
something that's bad,
Yeah.
we're gonna say it. As
Yeah.
long as I'm doing what I need to do to keep myself in check,
Yeah.
and I'm not going around going, "Oh, well, you need to do this and fix
Yeah.
that." If a person is not able to take that in and say, "You know what, man, I appreciate you, dude. I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yes.
letting me know,"
Thank you.
I'm not going to sit there and bash them and keep on them. And that's not my job. My job is to build you up and not tear you down.
Yeah. And that correction can come that way.
Oh, yeah.
Like if there was something I was consistently doing and I had a loved one who was worried about that, like I don't know how quickly it's going to get fixed. I don't. But am
Yeah.
I going to hear it? Am I going to consider it and go, wow, I didn't realize it was affecting that way. I've had
Yeah.
to do a lot of work of that in my family because people don't know how bad I used to be. And it's only because of my childhood. And people will hear, like, when I reflect back and I'll tell them a story, like something that I did, and
Yeah.
they're like, I can't even imagine you like that. And I'm like, that's called work. That is
Yeah.
some work that I put in because
Yep.
you don't know the life that I grew up in. You wouldn't think that that's what I'd been through now. And the way my brother-in-law just sent me a meme of Beth from Yellowstone.
Uh-huh.
And he titled it, he goes, I literally think when we were in our 20s, you were Beth. And I'm like, no, I wasn't that bad. And every clip that was sent in there, I was like, oh God, I did do that. And I was like, holy smokes, like I never was the one to like claim to be a Beth. I never did. But I was like, oh my gosh, in not claiming it, I didn't realize I really did act like that. Like I was like fearless. I didn't care if I lived or died. So I used to just go at people like a bull.
Yeah.
And I had no fear, no care, no nothing about my life.
Yeah.
And I had the last word. I was gonna like show up and raise hell. And I must have been some people's karma at that time.
Right. You were there to tell them and do what you needed to do in their presence at that time and moment.
And it just, I mean, the thing is though, is that to grow so far from that, to come so far from that and be like, but I'm not done. It's never done. I've got more to learn and do. And, and to experience, and these conversations that I engage in with people, I love them. I love the conversations. I worked at the Family Christian store back in San Diego, and it's a complete Bible store, books, all kinds of things.
Right.
And there was people who would get scared to come in there, and I'm like, why are you afraid to be in here? I'm like, well, because I'm not Christian. So, but there's a lot of people I notice, I'm like, man, I don't think the way everybody does. So I made those people feel comfortable and welcome and have learned from all backgrounds. I'm the kind of person that when Jehovah's Witness or the Mormons come to my door, I have a great conversation with them every time. Every time. Because why? You'll see these people are like, oh, I love the Lord and I'm gonna then you'd start a conversation and they are like done with the conversation. I'm like, do
Yeah.
you really love the Lord? Because I don't think you do.
I think your intentions were somewhere else and you got called out on it or whatever. But
And it's like you can see the heart and the fruits of those who want to talk about it, who want to engage, who want to ask the questions and just understand your insight. Because what if it just spiritually grows you, like in any way? You don't have to see it the same exact way, but maybe there's a piece of it you take.
oh yeah.
You know, I've always looked at it like a toolbox. You're going to have a whole bunch of tools, but on your daily, you're not going to need every single tool in there.
Yep. It's one of those things where, like the Bible says, you put on your full armor of God. And the
Yes.
armor that we go through is that knowledge and understanding and that caring of what we do when we speak or we go around people, or just living that positivity and not tearing or bashing people down and bringing them down, and by pointing out faults or pointing out
Yeah.
things that are, flaws, so to speak, in their personality or their life walk. It's saying, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I've seen how that can hinder you,
Yeah.
but you can make a choice, you can change that.
Yep.
And it's going to help you. It's going to be hard, it's not going to be easy, it's not going to happen overnight, but if you need help, I'm going to help you do that
Yeah.
and have somebody to do it with you. And it's a great thing to see that people are able to have that life where they can progress and build in their journey in this life, and say, hey, I am not the person who I used to be.
Right.
The old man is dead, the old me is dead and gone.
Yeah.
And if you can progress and do those things and be able to show that and keep moving forward, there should be no reason why, when somebody comes to you and tries to say, hey, I noticed this, because, hey, maybe this is a new characteristic or something that I was doing and I didn't realize was
Yeah.
happening, and try and progress and work on that. And helping each other build and expand on a lot of things in society, especially people who are in that mentality of this religious mindset, like you said. And I'm just going back around on this whole thing of the deception point of do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
People need to realize that if you're looking at something or you're hearing something and it's not something that is producing positive fruit, as it were, in religious scripture, and people are going along with that, what you're doing is you're poisoning your spirit. You're killing
Yes.
people spiritually that are trying to grow, and you're not feeding them the nourishment that they need progressively, and
That's
you're
true.
hindering them from growing. And now that we're here and we're talking about a lot of this, and I don't know, I mean, we've got a couple of people, I know Turley's on, and I've got my buddy Fred, and there's probably people that are going to see this later on. They're going to be able to watch it, because anybody that's able to want or wanting to watch it, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on X, you can watch it on TikTok, and you can watch it on Facebook. One thing that I would like to say, and I want to give you the opportunity to expound on this as well, is one thing I would like people to know and understand is that this journey that we are on in this life, we're not the same. I'm not the same as you. You're not the same as me. I'm not the same as Joe on the street. I'm not the same as, the woman who's going through whatever she's going through. Our lifestyles are different, but the path that we are on is leading us to that one end point. And that is where we need to start focusing on and letting people know that you are not alone. That if you are struggling and going through something that is hindering you from progressing, and you've tried everything in the book, I've tried this, I've tried that, they've done this, they put me on medicine, yada, yada, yada. Get the help that you need. Find somebody that is going to positively be there for you. It's kind of like a person who's going through AA. You have that mentor.
Mhm.
That's what I want people to understand is that you're not alone in whatever walk that you're walking, and whatever it is, reach out to somebody that is going to benefit you, that is
Yeah.
not going to hinder you. And if
Yeah.
you're feeling confused in something and you're like, why is it that they're telling me that I got to do this in order for me to get this, but I'm sitting here and I'm broke as a joke and I can't survive on my own 2 feet? Listen, it's not about the wealth. It's not about the money. It's not about any of these physical things that are here in this world, this illusory of the thought that I need to have something in order to gain something. The gaining power that we have is within each and every one of us.
Yes.
It's seeing that, and as those people, as I said before, yourself, people who are speaking on that truth and who are illuminating that light within people by speaking those words and saying, you are as great, and if not, you are greater than the one who created us.
Yeah.
Do not doubt yourself. Build on those things and get the help that you need by seeking those people who are going to help you do those things.
Yeah, I agree. That's always been my thing. It's like I've told people, through the years, like I when I was going through like severe depression, and I think a lot of it started right after my first daughter, and when I started speaking about mental health, postpartum depression, and everybody, I can't even tell you how much I cried and wept, and just I was constantly on my face in prayer. I was literally desperate. I was begging, I was pleading, and I was being told by the church I wasn't praying enough. There was something I wasn't giving up. I just needed to keep praying. I'm like, you guys have these generic answers
Yep.
that you're really not understanding that it's not helping. It's not doing anything. And sometimes, I mean, that's like saying that when Moses was and they were out there for what, 40, what was it, 40 years
Yeah.
in the wilderness, that Moses just wasn't praying enough, or they were supposed to be out there for 40 years for a reason.
Yeah. Because they did,
So
they weren't supposed to be doing, and that was their punishment.
yeah, but it also is like I don't believe that there's always, because Moses was included in there too,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't doing anything. He was leading them out.
Yep.
So it's like telling Moses, well, Moses, you should have just prayed for, all that to just poof, be gone and to be done.
Yeah. Why didn't you do something? Because we were all doing all this stuff and making it right.
Right. So it's like you can't just tell somebody, oh, you just need to pray. You need to pray harder. You need to pray more. You're just not doing enough, like I got all the generic answers at the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until just when I started speaking out and started talking about it and then finding the answers through it, my prayers were being answered. I had to
Yeah.
find the answer and the way, and what did I need to do? And talking about it is what got it, to help me. But the
Yeah.
church was not,
It was
that's just,
absent. It was
it was
absent.
so absent. And the answers, they just have these generic answers. And
Yeah.
that's it. And then, well, no, you're just not doing enough. You're not tithing enough. You're not reading your Bible enough, and you're not praying hard enough. I'm like, trust me, nobody is praying harder than me in the world right now. Like, I was praying
I'm
so
bringing the
hard.
walls down right now.
I'm surprised it's not raining because I'm just like, praying that hard. Like
Yeah.
I was praying with all my might, and those answers that's all they gave. But it wasn't really about getting, proper help and the help that I needed and the structure that I needed. And hey, how can we help you? Like, how can one of us help you?
Yeah.
If you're going through this hard and this bad, what can be done to come help you?
Yeah. Let
No,
me
you
help
just
you walk that walk and get you through it. Whatever I can do, and let's get through it together. You're not going to be alone in this.
right. Because and that's where I'm like, you guys don't realize that I am praying, but none of you are answering the call.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're for. That's what we're all here for together.
Yep.
We're not supposed to be going at this stuff alone. We're not supposed to be taking it on by ourselves. And yet that's how it's being treated. You have men's mental health issues, and everything's just been shamed, and men have been shut down to, you can't talk about anything.
Yeah.
And brotherhood is
Struggling through
lost,
it.
you know? and
Yeah.
nobody knows how to make it okay to, like, talk about what's going on. You just gotta suck it up, and you just gotta hold your head on high, but it's like, that's not the answer, and a
Yeah.
lot of the church hasn't really necessarily they haven't. I don't know, they're everything, but one of the last things that Tom and I needed from the church, and the first thing I was met with was, "Well, Nicole, don't forget you're a sinner too." That was literally I was like,
Yeah. God dang.
That's right out the gate, and
Exactly.
I was done
Yeah.
right from the minute that started. I was
Yep.
done.
I gotta go.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think you should even be in this position, sir, to, like, talk about what you're trying to pretend you're helping with, because
Yeah.
this is not how this works." And there's so many people are coming to the church because the outsiders get how it's supposed to be. I mean, what is that? The taxpayers and the prostitutes would make it to heaven before the teachers and the oh my gosh, it was the teachers and something else. And what was he saying? A prostitute who is changing her life has much more faith, real faith,
Yeah.
than the tax collector or the teachers. The teachers are just teaching the word. They're just
Yeah. They're
teaching it.
so, like you said, you're so worried about the outside of the cup and not worried about the inside of the inside of the cup that you're forgetting that it's the same thing, and you're
Mhm.
so worried and caught up about everything else. And these people are sitting here swallowing up the message that I'm telling them, and their faith is a lot more stronger than what you're presenting. But yet you're supposed to be the example. You're
Yeah,
supposed to be the one that's showing these people how to do this, and these people are going to make it before you do.
yeah, exactly. And that was always such a big message, is like to really know, to really be like, man, it's because of my faults and my shortcomings and the things that I do fail on. I have more faith than people can even imagine.
Yeah.
And it's this idea like, well, where's your God now? Like, look at all this stuff that's happening to you. Do you know what I never realized at the time? I was not awake, and I was so used to the indoctrination of the church that the Christ consciousness was not, it's always been there, but like to really awaken it, to receive it
Yeah.
and go, wow, that's really in me. That's inside of me. And I possess this was not restricted from me.
Yeah.
And it was like when I started speaking, like I had authority and I had a power, it was like, wow, things started changing. And I mean, it's just within the past 4 years, things that I've dealt with, and people are like, it, I knew eventually it would end. I knew eventually that I just had to hold on to my faith. I knew I had to keep speaking in power and authority, and
Yeah.
where my life was going to lead and how it was going to change. And, generational curses and generational poverty, it's all mindset that has to be changed.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
can't sit back and think, well, this is stuff that happened all the time, or this is just the way it is. That's baloney. It's
no,
something that you got to say, if you're going to fix it, then you need to do it.
yep.
Don't,
And this
don't
is
pass
where
it
it
on to your
comes
kids.
to being in that need of like help for these struggles and these certain things.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you that authority and a power. You just need to pray more, but you're not saying anything specific. You're not teaching the church how to pray. You're not teaching them how to pray in power and
To
authority. You are not
manifest the
teaching them.
things that
Yeah.
they're supposed to be getting.
Yep. And it's like, what do you think Jesus was walking around doing? You're talking about Jesus, but you're not talking about what he was doing. When you're
Yep.
talking about a man that could feel power go out of him because somebody clinched his robe,
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't even his flesh.
Yeah. And
He,
there were
he
thousands, hundreds of people just standing around like, who touched me? Master,
yeah,
we're in the crowd. Like, there's a bunch of people. Like, what do you
yeah,
mean who's touching? Everybody's pushing us around. He's like,
yeah.
no, I felt the power leave my body.
Because, and you know what? That's a big reflection part right there about the whole touch thing and interaction with people.
The seeing or feeling the negativity or the people's
Mhm.
energies. Yeah.
People trying to take from you and people withdrawing from you from,
Yep.
a fake hug or a simple handshake. And they'll literally withdraw, but we're not taught that. We're not
Mhm.
taught that, we're not teaching all of our kids to keep to keep that to themselves, that no, not everybody gets to touch you. You don't
Yeah.
have to accept everybody's touch. No, you don't have to go touch so and so and hug them, and you don't have to do
Mm.
that. Teaching my girls at a young age, like, look at Yeshua and the fact that a whole crowd, everybody's bumping up, but he was so specific about the touch. And why? Because the woman who was bleeding and couldn't stop bleeding believed if she touched him,
Yep.
she believed if she touched him, she would be healed. But how many people are with us who have that discernment and who have that light and who have that, people are just trying to touch us just to take.
Yep.
And they know it, and they're trying to be in our circles, they're trying to be around us, but they're just trying to take. And
Yep.
it's like they're not talking about that. They're not talking about your power being stripped of you, and you're going to these churches where you're supposed to think every person's a safe person because they're in church, but it's all withdrawing your power.
Yeah. And the manipulation, I mean, that's a whole nother thing we can do about the manipulation of people, not understanding what it is that they're being taught. They just regurgitate what they see or what they hear in church every Sunday or whenever they go, and they think that that's the truth because they don't look at the outside of those contexts or those words and realize who and what they are actually worshiping. And the true message, again, like you said, Joshua bringing us out of that mindset and waking people up to understand and say, hey, these are not my true children.
Yeah.
These people are coming in my father's name and they're saying that they're my father's children, but they're not.
Yeah.
Weary of those who come in my father's name.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be there. They're led there to deceive you. And they're going to be these people who are so sweet and they're so nice and they're portraying themselves as what, you want them to be. But in actuality, they are not. And it goes back to the whole thing of, them bearing their fruit, and seeing them for what they really are. And I mean, that whole energy harvesting and, the harvesting of one's powers by manipulating them to doing something and, worshiping and putting those praises. Well, who are you praising? Who are you worshiping? Do you understand that what you're really doing is you're giving this, your spirit man, that is your very essence, what Joshua called the Holy Spirit in the upper room before he left and he gave it to the apostles. You're giving that and feeding it to these things that are not going to benefit you, and they're actually going to break you and tear you down.
Yes.
And it's a real crazy thing. And again, it's a whole nother thing, another topic we can get into. But I'm grateful. I'm happy, and I'm really excited to see what it is that you do and what you have in store for the people, not even just here, but everywhere, because there's a lot of people that really need to have that connection with somebody, or have somebody being able to tell them the truth, but not only tell them the truth, but stoke that fire inside of them and say, come on, man, you got to get up. You got to wake this thing up. You got to do this stuff. And, I'm grateful, and I'm really blessed that you were able to come on and do this today, because I know we've been talking about it for like almost a year.
I know. But
Holy
what? Timing is everything.
And I was just like, oh my God, and I get on here and I'm doing my stuff, and then my mic and everything starts going down, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it's all good. And, it's a blessing to be able to do something like this for not just, people who are in the understanding with whatever we believe in or how we feel. This is what it's about. It's about bringing people together and collectively speaking on things that are building people up in power and getting them to that higher elevation, so that way they're not sitting that diminishing and that draining of their self is not going to build them up. We want to see people get there. We want to see people get through this life and be able to progress with whatever it is that they're doing, but do it in a way that is Christ conscious, that is the power that is in each and every one of us, whether it be mentally, physically, but spiritually. That is the key. And again, like I said, you're hitting the nail on the head every time that you speak or you bring up points on it. And I'm just really grateful, and I thank you so much for doing this, because this was like a big thing, a work in the making, and we're
Yeah.
finally doing it. It's like, yeah.
And I'm so glad because I knew it, I knew it was about timing. I knew that things just had to fall into place, and it was like just I kept getting that feeling like it's not time yet. It's not time
Yeah,
yet. Just wait. And then it
yeah.
was like, of course, though, once that time was appointed, it's like those interventions they try to come in, but
Yeah.
nothing stops it when you are determined and there's a purpose for you. It's going to happen. It's
Oh yeah.
just about that timing. And I can say that even this past year, moving and everything, I still wasn't in the right. There's a lot of stuff coming back for me right now because
Of course.
4 years of what I've gone through, I wasn't in the best mindset. And it's
Yeah.
taken me this year in the new house to recover.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff just blocked, honestly, mentally. And I would have rare moments and blips. But right now, my faith is everything's just being rebuilt and restructured.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I I'm starting to feel every time I have these moments now, my body gets real hot. Like I start like the heat starts just coming through my body. And I've had friends that I've prayed with and they're like, "You're really hot right now, like you're like temperature, like you're burning up." And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
like it's real for me. Like that's real fire that is from inside of me. And if I am telling a friend I'm gonna pray for them, I'm really praying for them. I don't
Yeah.
just toss that out. Like I'm really pouring my heart into that. And
Yeah.
it's there's so much stuff I think that we could talk about.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really feel like there's lots of topics we could talk about. And there's so much even of that, like I said, that power going out of you, it's and even more in just our creation and our being. I mean, there's so much stuff to touch on that I just think people on the daily are missing when you're just going in this blanket of like modern Christianity. There's no power and authority in it. It's well, let me just bling out Jesus' name everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Let me
that's
parade it
not
around and
Yeah, and that to me was when I was, like, being revealed, like, "Don't take my name in vain,"
yeah. Yep.
and people just not really realizing what that meant, and I was like, "No, we're so far off. We're
Yep.
so far off," and it was things that just started spiritually just hitting me mentally, and there's a lot to unpack. I think we're
There
gonna
is. There's a
unpack a lot of it.
I think it's gonna come around where, we'll have to do this, when you're ready and the timing's right. Like we'll just set up a time when we can just, hey, this is what we're gonna hit on, and we'll discuss this and jump on it and have episodes where we just do it every now and then when you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm already thinking about the next episode.
What are we gonna hit next?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I've
Yeah.
got some ideas, I'll write them down.
I know. Yeah, you do it, and then we'll collaborate and we'll share and we'll figure it out.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate this, and I loved being on here with you a
I
lot.
appreciate I appreciate it, because it was something that's been in a long time in the making, and we finally did it. And I hope that it reaches a lot of people's ears, or that people will take something away from it, because ultimately that's what it is.
Yeah,
We're putting it out there, and we're just letting people know, our thoughts and our ideas and how we feel, but we're trying to progress people. We're trying to get them
yeah,
to elevate themselves and to think outside the box.
yeah,
And that's all we can really do. It's up to them to pick it up and take what they will. And again, we'll have to collab and get something else going, so we can keep stoking that fire on them.
yeah, yes, yeah. This is all about fire. I'm all about fire.
Right on. Well,
All
I
right.
appreciate you for being here, and give our love to the family, and tell Tom, stay safe. And I know hopefully he's not working in that heat, because I know how
Yeah,
that is.
yeah.
You guys have a good weekend, and stay safe, and keep pushing forward, keep doing what you're doing.
Of course, you too, brother.
All right, girl. I'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
Later. Cool. So that was an amazing episode. I was not expecting it to get so cool and insightful and putting a lot of what we were talking about. Um, I think that, when people who can expound on a lot of thoughts that other people are not able to talk about or discuss, it helps people understand. And like I said before, it's something that we want to do to help people understand that they're not alone. We're not going through this world where we have to deal with the issues and just leave it all on ourselves. That there are people who are out there that are trying to help you. There are people who are out there that are trying to make it just like you are, and that you don't have to make yourself feel that you are not worthy. And the true insight and the true nature of who and what we are and why we are here in this world is something that we need to expound more on. It's something that people need to be knowledgeable and mindful of, because we are so much more than what we are allowing ourselves to be, that we are not putting our full potential in to this world and to the people around us, to our families, to our friends, and just to ourselves. That we need to build each other up. We need to build each other's consciousness up in a way that is going to awaken people a lot more. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are waking up to the fact that they have been deceived in their past, that there's something more to what they need than what they have been getting for the time that they have been trying to seek it. So I appreciate Nicole coming on. It was amazing. I'm really grateful and thankful. It was an awesome episode, and I appreciate you guys for being here. Those of you who were in the comments, Charlie, brother, I love you, man. Thank you, and I'm so proud of you, dude, for doing what you're doing. To everybody out there that is pushing forward and progressing and building themselves in the things that they're doing. High Desert Habit, I love you guys. Eric, you guys are doing an amazing job. I love you guys, and I support you guys. Anybody who hasn't gotten out there to hear them, they're going to be playing, I think, pretty soon. You guys get out there and just push through life and make it happen. Do what you're doing, but don't do it to the point where you're like down and you're like, this is all I have. Progress. There's more out there for you. Manifest the things that you want in life and make it happen. Don't sit down and wait for other people to do it, or to look for an outside source to do it for you. Power and everything that you have is in you. It's within each and every one of us. And I just want to say that you're not alone. And remember, everything that you do in this life, everything that goes on, the path is yours to take with how you're going to move forward with. The choice is there. The choice is there for all of us. So do the right things, make good choices that are going to benefit you and progress you. And everybody stay safe. Have a great weekend. Thank you all for coming and supporting the show. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.